ERIKSON'S emotional development theory. It is also called as psychosocial development theory, which is proposed by Erik and Erikson. It's one of the most popular, influential theory of social and emotional development. Erikson is follower of Sigmund Freud but opposed him in psychosexual stages of development. So, Erikson developed a separate 8 stages of psychosocial development, and each individual should pass through all these stages in their life. Each stage is defined by positive featured developments and also negative outcomes if the needs of the person are not met. Therefore, to have satisfied life, one should resolve all the conflictive issues related to person or environment. All the 8 stages are named after a series of alternative basic attitudes. A healthy personality depends on acquiring appropriate basic important attitudes in an order or sequence. If a person cannot resolve his conflicts, it stops or hampers later developmental stages in the life, just like as said by Maslow hierarchy needs. So, resolution can occur at any stage and damage can be reversed at any time. Coming to the important 8 stages of emotional development, to understand this concept, first we need to know the stages of in our life. Initially, 0 to 18 months or up to 1.5 years, the baby is called as infant, or this stage is called infancy. 18 months to 3 years is toddler. 3 years to 6 years, preschool period. 6 to 12 is school age. 12 to 18 is adolescence. 18 to 21 is young adults. 21 to 45 is adults. 45 to 60 and more than 60 is considered as older adults. And the simple thing to understand this concept is, first thing we have to learn about the positive aspects. If the positive development is seen in the infancy period, the same thing will mostly continues to later stages. If negative development has occurred in the infancy, that leads to further negative developments in the later stages. That thing we have to keep in mind before understanding the stages one by one. Coming to 0 to 18 months. Here the child develops trust because mother meets all the needs of the baby. That is, simple thing is breastfeeding. If the baby meets this oral sucking and pleasure principle, he develops a sense of trust that all her needs are met by some caregiver. The same thing he will develop in other persons too. If this need is not met, then he will develop a sense of negative feeling that is called mistrust. Means he won't believe any others. When he cannot believe the mother itself. Coming to toddler period, autonomy versus shame and doubt. After attaining the trust, the baby develops a feeling of autonomy, means freedom to do everything. Then if he does that, he will be doing everything on his own with the freedom attained from the mother or encouragement from the mother. If that is not happening, he will become shame and doubtful. Preschool period is 3 to 6 years. With the autonomy that he attained in the toddler period, he will be doing all the activities or tasks. Means he will become more initiative, or we can say explorative, and doing on his own. So he comes forward to do each and every activity, that can be singing or dancing or whatever, maybe studies, etc. Then if that is not happen, it leads to a feeling of guilt, or we can say I didn't achieve this. So this hampers, this is a negative development. Coming to school age, with the initiative attained in the previous stage of preschool, he develops a feeling of industry. Industry means mastery over the skill, repeatedly doing. Then he develops a feeling of confidence. If that is not happen, he will be developing negative feeling of inferiority. Coming to adolescence, that is 12 to 18, the stage is identity versus role confusion. Identity means usually these girls or boys will be comparing with their parents or role models like heroines or heroes or models. So once they could identify themselves as a best, they'll develop a feeling of identity, means some identification, their own identity. If that is not happened, they will be remaining as role confusion, means they are not clear of their personality, we can say. Coming to young adults, that in 18 to 21, when they are identified, when they attain the positive development of identity, then they will be developing a feeling of intimacy, means becoming close to some other person, and at this stage they will be developing a positive or intimate relation with persons or loved ones, and entering into family life and getting job, and all these things will be happening at this stage. If that is not happened positively, then the negative development is isolation. So he will remain to himself. So not having or not getting connected with any others, that can be considered as a state of isolation. Then coming to adults, that is 21 to 45 years, generative. With the intimacy attained in the young adulthood, he will be developing a family and acquiring a job and productive to the family. So he will be having interest and earning for the children on the family. So if that is not happening, then he will be developing a negative feeling of stagnation. Stagnation means I could not do anything, means I can't do anything, or nothing is possible with me. Such negative feelings can be called as stagnation or a sign of failure. Coming to 45 to 60, ego integrity versus despair. So when the person is generative and he could do everything for his family and the friends, then he will be developing a feeling of integrity, means I did everything or I did my best for the deserved ones. If that is not happened, he will be having a negative feeling of despair, means I am a failure, I could not achieve anything in this life. Here we have to keep one thing in mind, that age and category differs based on the different authors, and here it is based on the pediatric medicine or childhood milestones. But all the age stages are very common to particular age category. Once again, we have to remember the positive aspects, that first stage, hope, will, purpose, competency, fidelity, love, care and wisdom. In short, the key points of ERIKSON'S theory. Each individual faces a conflict at each stage which may or may not be successfully solved within that stage. Example, infancy is trust versus mistrust. If infant meets all his needs from the mother, baby learns to trusting others too. As he met this trusting need from the beloved loving mother, he believes that same thing will be happening from others too, and he will be starting believing the entire world. If not happened, then he won't trust anyone. It's clear that after developing the trust as a toddler, he becomes more liberative with freedom. If not, shame and doubt occurs. As a preschooler, he begins and starts everything with freedom attained in the toddler stage. If not, he develops a guilt and inferiority in preschool and school ages respectively. With initiative, he becomes industrious and becomes mastery over the skills attained. As an adolescent, he identifies with the role models, assumes as a hero or heroine if this stage is positive. If not, he develops role confusion. As younger adults, intimate settlements, family, and then generative, productive to the family, which leads to ego integrity or self-satisfaction. If positive stages are failed, a person develops negative aspects like isolation, stagnation, despair, considering himself as a failure in life. So these are the basic and key elements in psychosocial developmental theory of Eric and Erikson's. Thank you.